pure violence. And tonight, for the first time, we're going to hear from a perpetrator. A 16-year-old girl cold-cocked in Broad, with incidents ranging from London all the way to Pennsylvania. James Adelsberger, a teacher at a creative arts high school in Pittsburgh and a popular local blues musician, was walking home one afternoon following a day at work.
I walked home through that alley for 9 years, and I picked up a newspaper, a city paper from the rack on the street, and was reading an article, put it down under my arm, and proceeded to walk through the alley. And the next thing I know, I was waking up answering questions to a police officer.
What happened next was captured on surveillance footage. A passing 15-year-old hauls off and punches Adelsberger, who goes down hard, smashing his face into the concrete.
It was a violent, senseless act, but I didn't know what happened until I saw the film.
When you came to, were you in a lot of pain?
Yeah, I was in pain, I was confused, I was bloody.
And eventually angry.
My initial anger for that, I always had no issues with anything. I love teaching. I teach kids music. I teach kids English. But when that occurred, it was very senseless. It was very confusing. It questioned, I questioned humanity. But, I do believe people are intrinsically good.
The worst part, he says, was seeing the kids on the tape laughing and leaving him for dead.
I think the thing that gets me is when kids laugh about it, they jeer about it. The kids on my video walked away laughing and sneering. Some of the kids I've seen in the media are laughing. It's a sad thing.
Now, for the first time, the young man who attacked Adelsberger is speaking out exclusively to Nightline. He did not want us to use his name or show his face. Take me back to that day and sort of walk me through what was going through your mind in that moment.
Impulse and stupidity. I was just trying to show off for my friends.
Do you feel guilty? Do you feel embarrassed?
Of course. I feel guilty and embarrassed. Ashamed.
This young man, who is now 16, insists he had never heard of the knockout game when he attacked James Adelsberger a year ago. But in recent days and weeks, we've seen a spike in these kinds of attacks, which some authorities believe may in fact be part of the game.
We're just trying to determine the size and scope of this game, if in fact is happening to any great extent.
This past Friday in New York City, police charged one man for punching a 24-year-old Jewish man. Police say there have been 7 other similar attacks in this part of Brooklyn, including a 78-year-old woman and a 12-year-old boy. In Connecticut, a medical researcher says he was felled by a sucker punch to the face.
Only a single blow, and they fled after that.
This month in Washington, D.C., Phoebe Connolly, who works with teenagers professionally, was punched in the face while riding her bike.
My whole head, went flying to the side. It was a hard punch.
There have been at least 2 deaths this year. This is surveillance video of teenagers in New Jersey running away after punching a man who then had a seizure and died. There is active debate about whether all of these incidents are in fact part of a game or whether they're isolated incidents.
Violence for us now is as American as apple pie. We've become desensitized to it, and there are some individuals, especially young individuals, who may not have a large menu of exposure to the arts, to sciences, to music. All they're getting is the violence, and they react to that.
In the recent New York City attacks, police believe the motive may be something more than just a thirst for thrills. Anti-Semitism. All 8 victims have been Jewish.
Why'd you play knock out the Jew?
Why'd you play knock out the Jew?
Late today, African-American community leaders spoke out.
We are here together to collectively condemn the increasing violence.
Say the media is exacerbating this problem by repeatedly showing these videos. But experts we spoke to say parents can use this as a teaching moment. Talk to your kids about these images, they say, and make a special emphasis on the dangers, not only to the victims, but to the perpetrators as well. The young man captured on this now infamous surveillance tape in Pittsburgh was released a few months ago from a juvenile detention center where he spent nearly a year.
I drew this. I was bored in placement.
While inside, his great-grandfather, with whom he was very close, passed away. The young man says he is now trying to turn his life around.
What are your feelings now about the victim?
Apologetic.
Could have been to the funeral.
I'm ashamed that I did that. I'm embarrassed I did that. I wish I could take it back. I just felt like I owe him something.
I'm grateful I'm alive again. I can't say that enough. But, and it's good that he found something within him to make him feel a little bit guilty, and hopefully it won't eat away at him forever, that he can get on and be productive.
As you know, we're now seeing all these other cases of kids hauling off and punching people on the street. What would you say to any kid who's thinking about doing this?
They do not know what they're getting themselves into. I wish I could take every kid that's doing that and put them what I've been through, like a quick second, and like they would just, whoa, I don't know, I don't want no part of that. The fact of knowing that you did that to somebody who didn't deserve it at all.